If you're struggling with dip powder ombre nails and you're not ready to give up and you want to keep trying, then grab some shimmer powders and join me. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do an ombre with shimmer powders because they're a bit more forgiving than trying to blend together two solid colors. I like to start with everything out and ready. So I have my two colors that I'm using. Moon Pie is the beautiful yellow, and then Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty is the beautiful like light pinkish neutral color. You want to make sure you're using fluffy eyeshadow brushes when you are ombreing shimmers. Shimmers pick up really nicely when you're using fluffy eyeshadow brushes or ombre brushes. I'm using these two ombre brushes and I absolutely love them for doing the shimmer ombres. So once you apply your first layer of dip, you want to make sure you do that pretty thin. That's going to be the key to keeping your dip nails thinner, is by applying the dip base thinly right off the bat. And especially when you're doing an ombre, you don't want to end up with really thick nails because you're going to be tapping the powder on and then you're going to scrub it in. That's the way that I do it for the best outcome. I noticed that my ombres just blend a lot better when I use that combination method. Also, when I'm doing ombre, it takes me a little bit longer because I like to do it one nail at a time and then I brush it off. Like I wait till it dries, I brush it off before I even move to my next nail. Because if I see that a little bit of the ombre colors aren't popping, sometimes I'll do what you saw me do. I take the ombre brush and then scrub in some of the color a little bit more. When you're doing an ombre, it does not have to be perfect. You want to aim for a nice blend. And the way you get that nice blend is by doing what I found is by doing the combination of the tapping and the scrubbing. So the yellow wasn't popping quite as much as I want it to. Like this is a super bright yellow. You'll see at the very end when I show you the picture of my finished nails. The yellow is super bright. And I felt like at first when I was ombreing it, it just wasn't popping. The light pink neutral color was almost dulling it out a little bit from the blending. So I made sure to scrub on the first layer and the second layer, and that really helped the color pop a lot. Whenever I do an ombre, when I'm doing the first layer and the second layer, I switch the colors. So on the first layer, I started with the light pink and then I did the yellow second. On the second layer, you'll see me start with the yellow and then go into the light pink. I've noticed that really helps for ombreing to get a better blended effect going if you switch the colors. When I did both colors in the same order, like if I would have done pink, yellow, I noticed that the ombre just doesn't look as blended. It looks like more of a stark line, and that's not the look that at least I'm going for, and I'm sure probably a lot of you aren't going for. You want that like super ombre, very naturally blended look. And something else that you want to make sure that you always pay attention to, which I definitely don't always do, if you're using a really bright pigmented color or glitter or flakes or foils, anything like that, you want to wipe off your brush after you apply your dip liquids on your second layer or third layer, however many layers you're doing. If anything gets stuck in the brush, wipe it off on a clean paper towel or lint-free wipe, and then you're going to not contaminate your brush as much. So that's something I try to be really aware of, but you know, if you've watched any of my videos and you've seen, like, I'm pretty forgetful, so sometimes I'll end up with like a really dark color in my brush or something that then eventually stains. I actually usually keep liquids for bright colors, dark colors, and then a separate base liquid for glitters, but I haven't been doing that as much lately. I've just been kind of going with it. When you're working on your second layer of the ombre, you want to make sure you either go down a little bit further than you did the first time or go up a little bit further. You don't want to do your tapping at the exact same spot that you did your first layer. I noticed that the ombre blended look is better when you don't go to the exact same spot. So if I went down a little bit further on my first layer, on my tapping, like where the colors meet, where the top color meets the bottom color, then I try on the second layer to go up a little bit higher and not be tapping to the exact same spot that I did for the first layer. And you'll notice in the second layer, doing the yellow first really makes the yellow pop a lot more. Since it's so pigmented, doing it first allows that yellow to just hit the nail right away and give you that really bright color. So then I'm gonna go back in, and anywhere I feel like it just didn't blend well enough, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna scrub. Sometimes I scrub with the yellow and sometimes I scrub with the pink. I noticed that if I scrubbed with the pink, it made the ombre area a little bit softer, which I liked. Like right where the colors meet, it really helped to blend. So it depends on what colors you're doing, if you're using solids or shimmers. When I do the scrubbing after I've tapped, it just depends on where I see it, the ombre needs it. a couple minutes ago, I guess it was a couple videos ago, maybe like 10, 12 videos. I don't know. I do so many, I lose track. I did a tricolor ombre. I noticed that some of the colors just weren't popping as much. So I went back in and just did a little bit of scrubbing on the colors that I felt like weren't coming through as much on certain fingers. So that's something that I love about doing this combination of the tap and the scrub, is you can really get your colors to pop in the way that you want. If you want some colors to look a lot lighter, you can not scrub them in. If you want some colors to pop a lot more and look darker, then you can do some scrubbing after the tapping. That is why I'm going to keep doing this method, because it just works so well for me. And now I'm going to put some stickers on. And I had so much trouble with these stickers, okay? Stickers are supposed to be really easy. I can't remember where I got these from, Shein, Temu, I don't know, one of those places. And I like to buy like a bunch of just cheap stickers because they usually work really well. Well, I could not get these stinking stickers to come off the paper, okay, without ripping them. I kept trying with my tweezers, which my tweezers are kind of messed up and they don't like push together the whole way. So that's probably why it was making it worse. And I have really pointy ones, but I lost those. So I think I need to do an order from Amazon. And I finally found one that set nicely on my nail and I didn't accidentally rip. And then I tried to do a second sticker, and for the life of me, could not pick those dang stickers up without ripping it off. I struggled so bad. I probably did the stickers for like 15 minutes trying to pick up a stinking sticker. Okay, that's what we're going to call these, stinking stickers. But I eventually, after I put the second one on, then didn't even end up liking it. So, all that work for nothing. But, that's part of like the fun and the learning curve with nails. You do stuff and you're not sure how it's going to turn out. And if you're somebody who's still struggling with just basic dip application, I got you. I did a full guide on, it's called Dip Nails 101. It is everything you need to dip from start to finish, from prep to removal, everything you need, all the information on dipping that I did not have, that I wish I had when I first started. You can print it out. I'll make sure I link that in my description and the first pinned comment. Now, once I got my sticker down, I'm going to go through and I add, since I'm using dip liquids, I'm going to go through and I add clear dip powder to the top of every single nail. And when you're putting clear dip powder over a sticker, you want to make sure that your sticker is pressed down as much as you possibly can. You want it to be as flat as it possibly can be before you go and you add clear dip powder over it. And when I add clear dip powder over it, I typically do 2 layers, but I knew I had put a lot of peel base on, so this mani wasn't going to last for very long. When I was doing the peel base, I just overdid it. And so I didn't go crazy with adding clear. If you're going to wear your nails for a while, you might want to do 2 dips of the clear. That'll just help to really encapsulate the sticker so you don't accidentally file into it when you're buffing and shaping after you activate. And once I activate and let it dry for a few minutes, I like to tap my nails, and as long as I hear that like hollow tapping sound, then I know I'm safe to buff and shape and file away. And I always like to go around my cuticles with an e-file bit. I know everybody doesn't like to use an e-file. If you don't like to, you absolutely don't have to. I just am a bit obsessed with the e-file. If you watch my videos, I am addicted to my e-file. For anyone who doesn't like to use the e-file around their cuticles back in the back, you can use a flexible file, a hand file, or Bonafide Beauty off Amazon has these ergo files that are glass, and they are much more gentle than using an e-file. Then you can go through and you always wipe off your nails with alcohol before you go and top coat. If you're still struggling with ombres, check out this next video where we ombre a chunky glitter. Thanks for joining me today, nail crew.